What if I told you that the most dangerous person in your neighborhood isn't the one who takes something from you, but the one who leaves something behind? Most people lock their doors to keep thieves out, but what happens when someone breaks in and doesn't steal a single thing? What happens when they leave something worse than an empty safe? They leave chaos. And what happens when that same darkness finds its way back to them? Today's story isn't just a thriller. It's a mirror held up to the darkest corners of human psychology. Imagine a perfectly ordinary man. He wakes up every morning, makes his coffee, drives to work, waves at his neighbors. He pays his taxes. He holds doors open for strangers. He smiles at just the right moments. Nobody, and I mean nobody, would point at him in a lineup. But here's the thing about perfectly ordinary men. Sometimes, beneath that carefully constructed surface, there is something deeply, profoundly wrong. He was curious, in the most violating way imaginable. A house, nice house, colonial style, two-story, with the front door slightly ajar. Not wide open, just cracked. He stood on the sidewalk for a full 4 minutes. He counted and watched that door. He walked up the porch steps. He pushed the door open, and he went inside. He didn't touch anything. He didn't take anything. He stood in the hallway of a complete stranger's home and just breathed it in. The smell of someone else's cooking still hanging in the air, a jacket thrown over a chair, a pair of shoes near the door, family photos on the wall, a child's drawing stuck to the refrigerator with a pizza slice magnet. He stood there for maybe 6 minutes. Then he walked back out, pulled the door to the same slightly open position he'd found it, and went home. And that night, for the first time in years, Daniel slept perfectly. What Daniel was experiencing sits at a disturbing intersection between voyeurism, control fantasy, and what researchers call identity intrusion. The idea that someone could be inside that space, seeing all of that, breathing your air, without you ever knowing? He learned which houses had routines. When the Hendersons left for church every Sunday at 9:15 sharp, he would go in. He would walk through the rooms slowly. He would sit sometimes, in their chairs at their kitchen tables, once even on the edge of someone's bed. He would read the titles on their bookshelves, look at the photos on their walls, check what was on the fridge. He had been watching the Marshalls for 3 weeks. He placed a woman's silver bracelet in the pocket of Robert's coat, the one hanging by the front door. He left a single long, dark hair on the bathroom counter. On the kitchen table, barely visible unless you were clearing the surface, he left a lipstick-printed cocktail napkin. Then he left, and he settled into a position 2 houses down, behind a hedge, and he waited. By 7:31, Daniel could hear them, Robert's voice, raised, Carol's, confused at first, then defensive, then furious. And Daniel crouched behind that hedge and felt satisfied. It was a Tuesday, an ordinary Tuesday. Daniel had been at work, come home the same way he always did, and stopped. On the table in his entryway sat a glass vase, simple, clear, and inside it, a single yellow flower. He didn't own a vase. He had never owned a vase. And the note, a small card tucked beneath the vase. White, handwritten in neat block letters. We know it was you. Daniel didn't sleep that night. He lay in his bed in the dark and stared at the ceiling. He changed his locks the next morning, added a chain, bought a basic security camera for the front door. 2 weeks passed. Then he came home to the bird, and beside it another note. We're coming for you. His security camera had recorded nothing. A gap, a period of about 40 minutes where the footage simply wasn't there. The house felt different now. He began hearing things from the basement. A shift, a creak. Once what he was almost certain was a low voice. He went down with a flashlight, twice, found nothing. But the feeling didn't leave. The feeling that someone was in the walls of his life. He stopped sleeping more than a couple hours at a time. He started leaving lights on. He was unraveling. An older couple, standing on the sidewalk directly across from his house. The woman was holding a flower, yellow, the same shade, The same type. Identical. The woman looked directly at the window, directly at him, and she didn't smile. She didn't wave. She just looked. And then they turned and walked away. Were they real? Were they the family of someone Daniel had hurt? Or was Daniel manufacturing punishment because some deep part of him knew he deserved it? The yellow flower sat on the table where he'd left it, because he couldn't throw it away, because throwing it away would mean it was over.